I'm calling for Lenny to withdraw. Kasi whatever you're doing is not effective against the Marcos. Withdraw, come and join us. Join us. Pwede pasab. Pasab naman. Baka kami maka 3 points. Isa sa amin. This is not about being a woman and a man. This is all about the character. Character. That's nothing to do with the gender. And I wish them good luck. And sabi ko nga, kung gusto ninyo, supreme sacrifice. Let Lenny withdraw.
That was presidential candidate and Manila Mayor Isco Moreno speaking during a press conference with 2 other presidential bets on Easter Sunday. Moreno made a solo call asking Vice President Leni Robredo to drop out of the presidential race. During his campaign sortie in Surigao on Monday, Moreno said he stands by his call for VP Leni to give way and that he just wants to give Robredo a taste of her own medicine. He even went on to accuse Robredo of bribing other candidates to back out of the race, but he failed to provide any evidence. Time for the day's biggest headlines. I'm Robbie Alampay. You're watching The Big Story. Presidential candidate Manila Mayor Isco Moreno has been on the receiving end of criticism following his recent pronouncements against Vice President Leni Robredo. But for Moreno, he says it's a form of social injustice that his actions are being criticized. Let's get more details on this. Jem Avancenia is reporting us live from Butuan City, where Moreno just had his campaign sortie. Jem, how did Isco handle all the criticism?
Robbie, despite the heat that Mayor Isco Moreno has been receiving, the presidential bet maintained his call for VP Leni Robredo to make the ultimate sacrifice and withdraw her candidacy. The gloves are off for Mayor Isco Moreno. He recently accused the Robredo camp of playing dirty politics and spreading fake news about him. This comes as a photo of him and fellow presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos recently resurfaced on social media. But Moreno stressed that the photo was of an event in February 2021 where Marcos was also invited. The Action Democratico bet added that he's sure that it's the quote pink clowns who were behind the spreading of the photo.
Nagaling na naman sa dilaw. Straightforward, galing na naman sa dilaw. Dilaw talaga. Marumi talaga maglaro dilaw. Puro fake eh.
Moreno also pointed out that his call for Robredo to drop her bid is just a form of giving the VP a dose of her own medicine. That's after the latter's camp allegedly bribed other candidates to back out.
Kung wala pala kaming bisa, bakit mo pa kinakahoy yung mga tao namin? Ba't mo pa binibili yung mga tao namin? Ba't mo pa binabribe yung mga kandidato? Lahat kinakahoy nila. Tapos lahat inoopera na, mag-ano ka na, give up, mag-withdraw.
But when asked for evidence to prove his accusations against Robredo, Moreno failed to provide any. But he said he's sure of it and is not merely speculating.
We don't speculate. In fact, alam din naman natin na umamin na rin sila na sabi nga, if I may borrow, yung sabi ng iba, hinuhubaran niyo yung kalaban ninyo. I don't want to speculate.
Robbie, thousands of people are now in Gingona Park here in Butuan City for the Isigaw Mo Isko sa Butuan rally. Tomorrow, the Manila Mayor will continue their Caraga region campaign leg and will visit Tandag City and Agusan del Sur. Robbie?
Maraming salamat. That was Jem Avancenia reporting live from Butuan City. In the meantime, Moreno's camp now seems to be passing the buck to media for allegedly making the Easter briefing an anti-Leni press con. Let's get to the bottom of this issue with Action Democratico's Chairman Ernest Ramel, Jr. Mr. Ramel, welcome to The Big Story. Mr. Ramel, are you there? We seem to be having technical issues. We'll try to get Mr. Ramel later on. In the meantime, even Senator Ping Lacson, who was at the joint press conference, claims to have been caught by surprise after Moreno made his call for Robredo to exit the presidential race. In a message sent to reporters, Lacson distanced himself from Moreno's call. He said it was solely Moreno's own call. He said, however, that he did not feel blindsided and that Moreno may have just been carried away. Lacson said he personally would not call on others to withdraw. The senator, however, did not say anything to contradict Moreno during the press conference. Let's get back to Mr. Ernest Ramel. Mr. Ramel, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Roby. Yeah.
Mr. Ramel, just as a clarification, earlier today in a TV interview, you said the people at the press conference, the gentlemen, were only obliged to make comments about Robredo since members of the media asked. But the call for the VP to withdraw, that seemed to be very, very clear, very categorical, very objectively, clearly from Moreno himself.
Yes, well, that's right. However, the impetus to that idea came from the analysis of Secretary Norberto Gonzales when he said that I think the number 2 should give way because there are other alternatives, because apparently she cannot beat the front runner. And number 2, we also have we also have been repeatedly being asked by media that some of those supporters of Vice President Leni Robredo have been asking us to make the supreme sacrifice and withdraw. So it came to his mind, why are you asking me to withdraw and make the supreme sacrifice? Where in fact, the analysis of Secretary Gonzales is that the number 2 could not beat number 1. Why don't you instead withdraw? And not I or any of us here, gentlemen present.
Let me clarify your clarification. You did, I think, for a stretch there, clarified. It's the supporters of Ms. Robredo who are suggesting that option. So you're now saying the camp of Leni Robredo has not actually asked anyone to withdraw. Are you acknowledging that?
Okay. From day one, from October 8 last year, their camp, through their supporters, had been calling for Mayor Isco to withdraw from the race. And it continued relentlessly every now and then until lately, some of those, particularly Tim Orbos and 5 of his friends, went to Leni's camp. And they're saying for Mayor Isco to make the supreme sacrifice. So, it's been there, the call for Mayor Scott to withdraw from their camp.
Yeah, but let's be clear about that as well. Mr. Orbos, whom you cited, was formerly supporting Isco Moreno. Right? To that point, my other question is, what evidence do you have that the camp of Leni Robredo is bribing anybody to switch sides?
Okay. That directly also came from Senator Lacson when he said it's all about the money. It's the 800 million that reformer president or chairman, former Speaker Bebot Alvarez had asked from him, and he was not able to give it. Apparently, if he was not able to give it and they switched sides, there was money involved. Now, I'll give you one example from our side. Somebody yesterday, I will not mention his name, a candidate of ours, did an honorable thing and asked me that, asked permission from me, or just, not necessarily asked permission, but told me that he will not be able to continue to support Mayor Scott because we're not able to give financial assistance to our candidates now. And then in the afternoon, his name appeared in the list that Orbos showed in the media or sent to the media. So you could just infer from there that he withdrew because we cannot give him any financial support, and suddenly his name is part of Orbos' group. So what could you think about that?
Well, I don't know what to think about that, but clearly that's quite a stretch. There is a leap in logic there, you have to acknowledge. Him saying he cannot get any money from you, showing up in another state, and then you presume that there was therefore money involved?
Well, that's what I see there, because some of our candidates are asking if we could support them. And apparently, as of today, we haven't been able to help out our local candidates, right? And one of them did tell me that he will have to switch sides because we cannot help him out. So, and then magically, well, in the same day, his name appeared in the list of Team Orbo. So that's what I'm just saying. That's what I could infer from what's happened.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. Mr. Ernest Ramel of Aksyon Demokratiko. Maraming salamat po. And these are the other big stories tonight. Despite Sunday's call to withdraw her candidacy, the Robredo camp remains unfazed and continues their campaign in Quezon and Marinduque. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization says a mid-May surge in the Philippines could be possible should the public neglect minimum health protocols now that more people are traveling. And this is not a drill. 6 years after their split up, K-pop girl group 2NE1 reunites on stage for Coachella to the delight of millions of blackjacks around the globe. These big stories after the break. You're still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay. Presidential candidate Vice President Leni Robredo is staying above the fray a day after fellow Bet Mayor Isco Moreno called on her to withdraw. Mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro has this report.
Unfazed, Vice President Leni Robredo went on with her campaign in Quezon and Marinduque on Monday. This comes after Manila Mayor Isco Moreno, in a joint conference with two other presidential bets, asked Robredo to withdraw her bid. Although the Vice President has not spoken directly about the issue, Robredo has seemingly taken a swipe at this by reading several placards during her rallies.
VP Leni, sa ATM ka mag-withdraw sa pagkapangulo. Wala na naman ang ATM ko. Pera lang ang hindi wini-withdraw. Hindi si VP Leni.
Aside from Moreno, Senator Ping Lacson and former Defense Secretary Norberto Gonzales were also present. They claimed that Ferdinand Marcos Jr. leads by a wide margin due to the people's distaste of Robredo. But for the VP's camp, the press con was just pure theatrics. Her spokesperson said it would have shown more depth to maintain silence. For political pundit Dindo Manhit, Robredo remains as Marcos's strongest opponent.
If they really want, again, if the campaign objective of all is to beat the leading candidate, former Senator Marcos Jr., then unite on the strongest. You don't unite on the second preferences or the second preference of the voters.
For Robredo, she urged her supporters not to be swayed by emotions and instead focus on their heart-to-heart campaign. With less than a month before the May polls, mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, we are One News.
For his part, Marcos Jr. continues his efforts to secure the votes of Cebuanos after losing in the province in 2016. For live updates, we have mobile journalist Julie Baiza reporting from Cebu City. Julie, kumusta dyan sa Cebu?
Robbie, UNC supporters have been arriving here at the City de Mare in Cebu City since early this morning for the grand rally of presidential candidate Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte. The gates of City de Mare will let the ground open by around 1 p.m., hours before the actual rally. But despite that, some supporters started to arrive way earlier to jumpstart the campaign to the city. As the amount of supporters increased by the hour, some were able to endure the heat in the downtown crowd, but medical assistants were present in the area to help them then. When asked why they are voting for Marcos Jr., some supporters said they believe that he's the candidate that can help them. Meanwhile, some Senate aspirants are here today, including Victoria Estrada, Senator Winston Solian, Harry Roque, and Herbert Bautista. Cebu City Mayor Michael Rama is also present in the rally. Mr. Katina Velarde performed a while ago with President Velarde's attendance here in the Unity Court. He has become a topic online, as he said he has lost followers after the announcement. The Gandhi is also performed earlier, and many more performers are yet to be seen. Cebu is the country's between province and city in the future. Marcos lost here in 2016 and not only third among the leading aspirants. Just that big, ruling local party wants to endorse him for the presidency. Support for the unity. Meanwhile, Mayor Sara Duterte and Bongbong Marcos just arrived here at City de Mare. Robbie?
COVID infections post-elections may reach around 300,000 active cases, says the WHO. WHO representative to the Philippines, Dr. Rajendra Yadav, says increased mobility may drive up cases as more people travel in and out of the city. Dr. Yadav said the public should continue to wear masks. He advises government not to rely on the number of cases, but on the number of people who still need to be vaccinated. For the big story in sports, Filipino pole vault sensation EJ Obiena will lead the Philippine team in the Parade of Nations at the Hanoi Southeast Asian Games in May. Philippine Olympic Committee President Bambol Tolentino says Obiena and Olympic gold medalist Heidelin Diaz were initially nominated as flag bearers, but each country is only allowed one. Obiena thanked the POC for giving him the honor of waving the country's colors, a recognition that came following months of rift with Patafa. The 26-year-old is favored to win another SEA Games gold medal after setting several personal and national records over the past year. Time for another break. When we return, Leyte local government is now studying the possibility of shifting from rescue to recovery operations, even as more than 100 more people remain missing due to tropical depression Agaton. OG Kpop all-girl group To Anyone reunite on stage in Coachella for the first time since the group split up. A look at their surprise performance after the break. You're still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay. Death toll due to tropical depression Agaton has risen to more than 170. Nowhere is the destruction more evident than in Leyte, where hundreds were buried alive due to massive landslides. Jenny Dongon has the story.
Gutom kukuya. There were the words of 11-year-old CJ when a rescuer saw him inside the landslide-ravaged part of Barangay Cantagnos in Baybay, Leyte. Due to his fractured legs, rescuers put CJ inside a broken refrigerator.
May nakita akong buko doon, binasag ko, then nilagay ko yung tubig sa may mineral bottle, then may laman naman yung sinubuan ko po siya, kanya pinainom. Tapos yung rep, nilagyan namin ng cover para hindi siya giginawin.
While he was fortunate to survive the landslide, his mom and dad did not.
Nakita ko siya sa rescue.
Naabutan sila ng ikalawang yanig, iniwan siya sa bahay. Talagang nagsumikap siya na alisin yung mga nakaharang sa kanya para makalabas siya, hanggang sa nakita na siya ng rescue.
But not every family had a story of survival. Not one of Mantisa Polvera's 26 relatives survived. She was in Manila when the landslide happened.
Sobrang sakit na hindi ko pa maintindihan. Ang gagawin namin, kung saan kami mag-uumpisa magkakapatid, kung paano namin pagpatuloy na wala na sila nanay, tatay, mga kapatid ko na nasanay kami, nandiyan sila lagi sa tabi na pag kailangan namin.
Baybay City Mayor Jose Carlos Cari said that rescuers have already shifted to search and retrieval operations focusing on barangays Mailhi and Cantagnos. They have yet to decide if they will continue their operations or divert to a recovery plan. Relatives of missing residents are protesting.
Kasi gusto namin lahat. Kahit patay na sila, makita man lang sila at nailibing naman sila ng maayos. Huwag po sana kayong tumigil.
So far, 120 bodies have been recovered while 70 people are still missing based on the latest data from Baybay LGU. Based on the latest tally of the NDRMC, 172 lives have been lost due to the onslaught of Tropical Cyclone Agaton. 8 people were injured while 110 are still missing. For News 5, Jenny Dongon, We Are One News.
This is not a drill. After 6 years, Kpop hitmakers 21 reunited on stage. Bomb, Minzy, and our very own Sandara Park or Dara joined CL at the end of her 88 Rising set during the Head in the Clouds Forever Coachella 2022. The superstars performed their 2011 mega hit track, I Am the Best. Sandara even pulled off her iconic hairstyle. Their fans, also known as Blackjacks, are over the moon with the surprise appearance, as this was the quartet's first performance since their disbandment in 2016. The best indeed. Still in the K-pop scene, global sensation BTS is coming back with a new album. The big news was revealed as they wrapped up their sold-out concert in Las Vegas. A video appeared at the end of their last show and was later posted on the group's social media. The group's agency Big Hit Music also confirmed the comeback on BTS's fan community platform. With the tagline, We Are Bulletproof. The album will be released on June 10. Save the date, armies. For News 5, MJ Marfori, We Are One News.
Pera lang ang nawi-withdraw, hindi si VP Lenny. Supporters of Vice President Lenny Robredo continue to make memes about calls for Robredo to step down. But here to give their 2 cents on the topic of finance is the Bank of the Philippine Islands. Using the hashtag BPI Cybersecurity Tips, the bank said that no one should withdraw for you. BPI adds that if you really need to withdraw, do it yourself and don't let anyone else do it for you. The lender went on to remind customers not to share sensitive information such as one's ATM PIN to ensure protection. And that wraps up today's big story. Catch us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250. Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. Mask on, wash hands, stay safe, Philippines. Sa ngalan po ni Gretchen Ho. Ako po si Robbie Alampay. We are One News.